in hand. So is it Wicca writing the songs, passing it to the Illuminati, and then they're, delivering the message? How's this working?
Well, the Illuminati use what's out there, and then they turn it into something for their own use. And the term Rain Man actually is a very ancient term, and the people in civilizations in years ago would use that term for people who could make it rain. They had power, magical power, like a shaman would have, to make the weather change to where they want. So Rain Man to the Illuminati, from a programming perspective, means it's someone who has the ability to change a circumstance or switch from one thing to another. So when you hear the term Rain Man, and there was a popular movie with that name years ago, which was actually about a person who was autistic and a savant, which was in an altar that he was in. This was a trigger word to put a person into that function, those out there with that function.
Yeah, because we've been watching these YouTubes about and how the Illuminati and this Rain Man go hand in hand, and I just could never get to the bottom of what it was, and never even explained out there that it was an ancient verse that goes back that far. Of course, we all know of the rain dance and what the American Indians. I myself am quite a bit Cherokee Indian from the eastern tribe out in Mackey Valley, and so we might even be related. You never know.
Possible.
So we hear about the rain dances and stuff like that, but I could never get to the bottom of why country singers, rock and roll, hip hop, pop culture, everybody that's in the music industry uses this, and they call him out. And actually, I was watching a video with Jay-Z, and Jay-Z says, well, I used to write things down, all my lyrics, whenever I was in my younger stages. But then he says, then I would go into the ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, and Rain Man would take over, and then I would just flow. And I never have to, remember it. So he goes into his alter ego.
An alter personality, or a sub-personality that has a specific function. And the reason they used country and western, in fact, back in the 40s and 50s, when mind control and programming were first brought to this country significantly, they used country and western singers initially because that was the most popular music at the time, and people listened to it, and they could put subliminal messages in there for a wide range of the population. Plus, a lot of these country and western singers would be roadies, and they'd go travel from place to place with their caravans, and wherever they would go, they could pass on messages, they could trigger people, they could imprint. They became a very convenient way of spreading mind control. Now, these days, mind control and programming can be subliminally imprinted in the music on all the CDs that come out, on all of the radio shows that come out. They can just automatically put it in there across the board. It doesn't matter what style of music it is.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you're just... it's funny, too, because I caught myself wrapped up into it back before I was awake. And then all of a sudden, all this Jay-Z's going on and hip-hop, and everybody's digging him. And I'm thinking to myself, this guy isn't even that good. Why is everybody... But I never could put anything together back then because I was under the control of being manipulated as well. So, but I remember, and I'm thinking, why is this guy got the highest paid record deal ever in the history of time? Who is this guy, Never even signed a deal with the record label, when his first big album came out, that when he took stage, his rightfully placed in the Illuminati, you'll be amazed to know that Jay-Z's big debut was 9/11. It was the same day the towers came down.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because it's both powers working at once. There's just the music side to it. See, and that's what we're trying to educate people, that this New World Order that everybody's, hooting and hollering about, they don't just have control of the money and the politics. They're being controlled by the powerful 13th of the Illuminati, correct?
That's correct.
Money really isn't power. Knowledge is power. And that's what they're after. And the real power is in the people. And so what they're doing is they're taking away the power from the people and making the people feel powerless, even though they're really not. And they're feeling like they're under the control of a lot of other things, and so they lose faith within themselves. Like, for instance, you know, the economy's going down, there are no jobs, you can't sell your house, you know, what's with your credit card debt, all the things that make people feel bad, that feel like failures, everything that takes away what would normally be a challenge for people so they can grow into their personal power. Either no jobs, you can't start a small business, you have to work for the corporation for minimum wage. You know, nobody feels good working at, you know, $6 an hour, and then they take half of it out for taxes. So
funny
whatever
you say the
they
corporation.
can do, right? And then they go into the music. They turn the music on. All of a sudden, they feel good. They feel hooked into this. You know, they feel like they belong. You know, they're right up there with Lady Gaga singing her songs. So, you know, no matter where people turn without awareness, one way or another, they are hooked in, either making them feel really bad or making them feel really good and uplifting them this way and that way. So they don't know what's up and what's down anymore.
Yeah, and that's what we got to do. We got to balance it out. It's like just like in the finance versus commerce, you have to balance the books. So we're trying to balance the books here on the music and you know, let these people know, look, this is happening. We're even going to dissect one of Lady Gaga's songs on the second hour and let you know, word for word, where they're using the mind, because you guys got all the words there, right?
Yes, we do.
And we are ready to fire that up on the second hour. We're going to finish out this first segment here, just getting a little background of what's really going on and all the different aspects. Now, I know Clint had some questions about frequencies and exactly what's going on with these frequencies, so I'll let Mixmaster Clint have it from here.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hi.
Hi there.
Yeah, well, since the 80s, they've been using backmasking, and recently, you know, one of my friends worked for Best Buy, and you know, he sold TVs, and he's an electronics major, so he knew what was inside. And there were some things inside that weren't for the TV tube, so after our break here, we'll come back and we'll touch upon this issue. You're listening to American Freedom Radio and LibertyRadio.com. This is The Truth Behind the Music
with the Madman CJ
and Mixmaster Clint.
Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up.
All right, we are back again here on The Truth Behind the Music with the Madman CJ.
Includes Mixmaster Clint here.
On American Freedom Radio, we have live on today's show Janet and Stewart Swerdlow. Welcome back, Janet and Stewart.
Hello.
Hi there.
All right, good to have you back on. So, I know we've been talking about a lot of things, and Mixmaster Clint wanted to get into how these frequencies are actually being used.
Yeah, so we know in the 80s they started backmasking, so I'd like to ask exactly how that works on the brain backwards. And also I was touching upon my friend who is an electronics major. He knows of, you know, devices inside of the newer TVs that aren't for the picture tube. And I'm well aware of, you know, the carrier frequency in TVs that sends your brain into, you know, everything that comes into your brain, your conscious is not filtering it. It's going directly in your subconscious, which, you know, you don't decide whether something is good or bad or true or false. It just instantly goes in there. And you wonder why you want to buy a certain product, or you wonder why you feel a certain way about something, and, you know, that maybe that's because of it.
Well, that's true, and I'll go to the first part of what you said. The backmasking, or actually reverse speech, is really what that is. And when you know about hyperspace or non-physical reality and how it translates into physical reality, you know that our physical existence is a mirror or reflection of the non-physical. So that means it's actually the reverse energy of what's being sent out. This is why our left and right hemisphere of our brain crisscrosses at the center of our head, and why we get actually a reverse image in the brain than what we're seeing out front. So that's what that's about. When you have music or any type of information that is subliminally programmed for reverse, interpretation, the mind automatically picks that up because that's how the right brain receives information from hyperspace or non-physical